Time for math, everybody. All right, yesterday we went back and we looked at Unit 1, right? So we solved equations that were radical equations. So today we're going to move on. We're going to look at Unit 2. So Unit 2, we did this big comment question after a video about Pythagoras. Remember when he stole beans or something? He was weird about beans. We talked about Pythagorean Theorem and what it means. We said that a squared plus b squared was equal to c squared, and we did this little thing where we cut and pasted them all together to prove that that was the case. So c is the hypotenuse, a and b are side lengths, and a right triangle will always have this characteristic. So if you square the side length, add them together, it's equal to the square of the hypotenuse. So we learned about that. We practiced identifying what triangles are right triangles. They have to have a 90-degree angle. And then I had you guys highlighting the hypotenuse of triangles that were right. This one, we were looking for the missing value c. So we said a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and we plugged in values for a and b, and we solved the equation. Then we practiced that, solving the hypotenuse. What was that? Oh, you guys had to explain your answers. So a bunch of word problems. I made you get up in front of each other and explain answers. This one, what was this about? Oh, we had a little example about finding the distance between points on a plane and the diagonal. That was kind of a cool one. So finding the hypotenuse. Oh, B block didn't get to do the zoo. This was a fun one. I don't know if you guys remember this, but the zoo, we had to go from one animal to the other, and we had to find how far apart they were using Pythagorean Theorem. You had to do your little heart, find the distance from each one. So we did a ton of practice finding the hypotenuse. I didn't have you guys find missing side length very often because you would have to be able to solve equations. So guess what we're doing today? We'll be doing that. This one we looked at the converse of the theorem. This one, oh yeah, using the converse of the theorem, you guys had to determine if something was even a triangle, and then if it was a triangle, did it fit into Pythagorean theorem, and was it a right triangle? And then that was the end. So that was our whole unit. So the part that we're going to focus on now is that piece where you had to find the missing side length. So, of course, I made you some problems. Do you guys hear Ziva crying? She's mad because I didn't make her ground meat for breakfast. She has dry dog food. She is not happy. All right. So in my first triangle, my first example right here, I had it so that the hypotenuse is missing. So I'm going to give you the equation. So we have a squared, we'll put it up here. A squared plus, I don't know why I made them capital, but whatever. B squared equals c squared. So that's what we're going to use. Remember, the c is always the hypotenuse. That's your little hippo. We'll make him into a little hippo so you can remember. Is that a hippo or is that a pig? I don't know. Okay, so here's a and b, here's c. So I'm going to plug them in. I have 6 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared, right? That's going to tell us what to do. This isn't much equation solving right now, because really all I have to do is simplify this side. So 6 squared is 36. 8 squared is 64. That equals c squared. We just need to add these together. So 90, 100. And just like yesterday when we got to the end of an equation, we have to take the square root of both sides. Now, yesterday I told you you needed that plus or minus. So today, if I say my answer is negative 10 or positive 10, thinking about the context of the problem, think about this side length and if it could really ever be a negative value. The length of a triangle, not going to be negative. So that means, now I just wrote negative. That was really smart. So that means c equals 10. So it's 10 units long. Now, the whole reason we're doing this is for the second style problem. So I didn't have you guys do this much when we were in Unit 2 because you didn't know how to solve equations yet, but now you do. So let's take this idea and combine it with equation solving to do this one. So my hypotenuse this time is 5. I have an A value. I don't have a B value, and I do have a C value. So we're going to solve this. Let's start by evaluating our powers. So I have 9 plus B squared equals 25. I want to get this B by itself. So that means I need to move the 9 to the other side. If we were to follow all those steps I've been writing every day, there's nothing to distribute. There are no like terms to combine. All my variables are on the left. So now this is that part where I'm moving the constants to the right. So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. And B squared equals positive 16. So all that's left is to solve. So we're going to take the square root of both sides. We would include that positive or negative every time we take a square root, but in this case, we're really not going to have a negative value for a side length. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of our negative one and say B is 4. So that means back over here on my triangle, this side length is 4 units long. You guys are going to do a few of each of these today. I will give you the equations so they don't have to write the equation. It's been a long time since we had to set that up. But you're going to be asked to solve the equation and tell me what the missing side length is. All right, good luck, have fun.